911, what's your emergency? Do you even have one? The question, a legitimate one, according to local dispatchers. Just how often are those pointless calls tying up local lines? It is the focus of tonight's In Depth. The 19's David Douglas with the story.
Eric, go ahead and take a second to think about the kinds of reasons you'd call 911. Got an idea? Okay, hold that thought and listen to what some people think is acceptable use of an emergency line.
Dane County Communications.
2 Frank 3.
Connected to the Madison Police Department.
I don't know, he's complained for you.
Do you want to speak to the officers about this?
Name a number on your screen.
Dane County Communications.
It's the place you turn to in an emergency.
He was also arrested about 2 weeks ago. 1460.
The Dane County 911 Center, where sometimes the calls aren't emergencies at all.
I'd say at least 10 calls an hour that probably are not 911 appropriate during our really peak times.
Occasionally, they're outrageous.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Somebody's putting Vaseline on me and my neighbor's door. I always want to touch my door.
Let me check something.
In his 20 years taking 911 calls, Todd Meister has heard them all.
Was doing laundry, and he called to see if he should use hot water or cold water. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. How to get to Easttown. What time does the parade start? What is bar time for daylight savings time?
Those aren't the only questions.
Dane County Communications.
Hi there. I'm Hunter. I had a question that has to do with the DNR. I don't know how to get a hold of a warden.
When calls like those come in on 911 lines, if it's a busy time, others with real emergencies can end up on hold.
They're having chest pains. That's an emergency, and if we tie up those lines with clerical type of calls, what's the number of the records? What's the number to the jail? Well, you could be tying up that line for someone who is really having an emergency.
Lisa Hayes has taken thousands of calls in 7 years on the job she loves.
When do you think he's going to leave?
She and her bosses stress if you're in doubt, go ahead, call 911.
If you think you need police, fire, or ambulance response, call 911.
A common sense approach that works better for everyone.
I wish some of these people would stop and think, if it's your mother, your father, your child that needs help, do you really want the people that are going to provide that help to be tied up on frivolous calls?
I don't think most of us do. Todd tells me he's even been asked for Thanksgiving turkey tips. There's a Butterball hotline for that, folks. Again, if you are in doubt, they do want you to call. Just these clearly ridiculous calls are clearly a problem. And there's a general rule, Eric. If you need police, fire, or EMS response, go ahead and call. If you don't.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be hilarious if they weren't life and death related situations here. Now, we should point out some of the calls they get that tie up these lines are unintentional as well.
Yeah, they call them pocket dials. You have your phone in your pocket and the key guard isn't on and it goes ahead and dials 911. They get them all the time.
The phone I didn't have it on lock, and the side of my purse hit the wall, and it just speed dialed. I'm sorry.
Now, here's the key. If that happens, they get it. But if you accidentally dial 911, do not hang up your phone.
And I think people think, if I hang up right away, I'm not going to get the call. But we still do get it. And then we have to determine, one, if we heard something that we think is an emergency. And two, regardless, we have to try and call back.
Here's another tip. If you have to call 911 and the phone is ringing and ringing and ringing, do not hang up. That means the call center is busy. And even though no one has picked up the call, it is in the queue, which means when it gets answered, you aren't on the line, the operator has to call you back, further delaying you getting the help you need.
Some important stuff to know if you ever need to call 911, and if you don't need to, don't do it.